Chapter 1 Introduction: The Weight of Peter's World. Once upon a time, nestled in the embrace of a small town, there existed a man named Peter. His story unfolded like the pages of a weathered book, each chapter revealing layers of sorrow and tragedy that had woven themselves into the very fabric of his existence. This town, with its cobblestone streets and tightly knit community, was a haven where familiarity reigned supreme, and every face bore a name that echoed through the narrow alleys. In this quiet corner of the world, Peter was not just another resident, he was an enigma, a man whose presence stirred a subtle discomfort among the townsfolk. His house, a modest structure with a weathered facade, stood as both a sanctuary and a witness to the silent struggles that unfolded within. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow upon the town, the silhouette of Peter could be seen traversing the familiar streets. His gait carried a heaviness, a burden that transcended the physical, casting a spectral shadow upon the ground with every step. The townspeople, while exchanging pleasantries and laughter, would momentarily hush their conversations as Peter passed by, their eyes expressing a mixture of sympathy and curiosity. The heart of this quaint community beat in sync with the rhythm of daily life, yet within it, Peter harbored a secret pain that set him apart. His eyes, windows to a soul weathered by unseen storms, held tales of loss and heartbreak that resonated in the depths of the town's collective consciousness. The tapestry of Peter's life was intricately woven with threads of sorrow, tragedy, and unspoken grief. The townsfolk, bound by the unspoken rules of small-town living, sensed the weight he carried, but dared not breach the walls of his solitude. Behind the curtains of their own lives, they whispered about the mysteries that enveloped Peter, speculating on the origins of his burden. Within the town's pub, where the air was thick with the scent of aged wood and conversation, tales of Peter's past circulated like leaves caught in a gentle breeze. Each whispered word and exchanged glance added another layer to the unfolding narrative, and a collective yearning to unravel the enigma of Peter began to take root. In the stillness of the night, as the town slept beneath the blanket of stars, Peter's house stood as a silent sentinel to the untold stories echoing within its walls. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows, mirroring the complexities of a life marked by tragedy. And so, in the heart of this seemingly idyllic town, the stage was set for a story that promised to unravel the layers of Peter's existence, revealing a tapestry that bore the imprints of a sorrowful past.
Chapter 2: The Quiet Town, Veiled Whispers and Cobblestone Streets. In the heart of this seemingly ordinary town, where cobblestone streets crisscrossed like veins, and cozy cottages nestled against each other like old friends, a facade of normalcy painted the picture of an idyllic existence. The central square, with its charming boutiques and cafes, bustled with the ebb and flow of everyday life. The town's exterior was a canvas of quaint beauty, but like any other tale, there was more than met the eye. As dawn broke, casting a soft glow upon the town, the streets came alive with the rhythmic sound of footsteps echoing against the cobblestone pathways. Neighbors greeted each other with warm smiles, and children played in the square, their laughter blending seamlessly with the distant melody of a street musician's guitar. Yet, beneath this picturesque veneer, the town held within its embrace a silent dance of secrets. Whispers of untold stories lingered in the air, carried by the wind that rustled through the leaves of ancient trees. It was in this whispering breeze that the mysteries of Peter's existence found a voice, an ethereal chorus that accompanied him as he navigated the familiar paths. The townsfolk, engaged in their daily routines, were unwittingly part of a grand tapestry woven with threads of intrigue. In the shadow of their collective consciousness, an air of mystery enveloped Peter, and his presence became a subtle anomaly within the harmonious symphony of the town. The central square, a hub of communal activity, harbored corners where the curious gathered to exchange furtive glances and hushed speculations about the enigmatic man. The cozy cafes, where locals sipped on steaming cups of coffee, became impromptu forums where fragments of Peter's story were dissected and analyzed, like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle waiting to be assembled. Behind the quaint facades of the cottages, curtains twitched, and doors creaked open just enough to satisfy the townspeople's collective curiosity. It was as if the town itself held its breath, caught in the suspense of an unfolding drama that begged to be deciphered. The mystery that surrounded Peter's existence was not merely a figment of imagination, it was a palpable force that wrapped the town in an invisible embrace. The normalcy of everyday life served as a stark contrast to the unspoken complexities that lurked in the shadows, and the townspeople, knowingly or unknowingly, became characters in a narrative that extended beyond their individual lives. As the sun set on the cobblestone streets and the town's lights flickered to life, the air remained charged with anticipation. Chapter 2 of Peter's story was etched into the very soul of the quiet town, and with every passing moment, the tapestry of mystery unraveled itself, revealing threads that wove through the fabric of each resident's reality.
Chapter 3: Peter's Past, the silent echoes of memory. In the heart of the quaint town, Peter stood as a silent figure, a man of few words whose very presence carried the weight of a history known only to him. His life, like a tattered manuscript, unfolded with chapters marked by the ink of sorrow, leaving an indelible mark on the narrative of his existence. Peter's demeanor spoke volumes, though his words were scarce. His eyes, deep pools of emotion, reflected the echoes of a past that haunted his every waking moment. As the townsfolk engaged in the rhythm of their daily lives, Peter navigated the streets with a quiet intensity, as if grappling with the specters that lingered in the shadows of his own history. In the bustling central square, where laughter and conversations danced through the air, Peter's silence became a stark contrast. His gaze, often lost in the distant horizon, spoke of a journey through time and the layers of a past that seemed to have a relentless grip on his very soul. The townspeople, with their friendly nods and cordial exchanges, moved through the tapestry of their lives unaware of the intricacies that define Peter's world. He became an enigma, a puzzle waiting to be solved, and yet, the key to unraveling the mystery lay locked within the recesses of his own memories. Behind the walls of his modest abode, Peter lived with the silent echoes of a bygone era. Photographs adorned the walls, capturing moments frozen in time, each telling a story of joy tinged with the bittersweet hues of nostalgia. Yet, it was in the spaces between the frames that the true essence of Peter's past unfolded, the untold stories, the unspoken sorrows, and the scars that marked the passage of time. As the townsfolk speculated about the origins of Peter's melancholy, he carried the weight of his past like an invisible burden. Each step he took seemed to echo with the footfalls of days gone by, and the lines etched on his face told tales of hardships weathered in solitude. The central square, once a place of communal connection, became a stage where Peter's internal struggle played out against the backdrop of ordinary life. His interactions, though few, carried the gravity of a man wrestling with the ghosts of yesteryears, and the townspeople, in their naivety, sensed that his journey was far from over. Chapter 3 unfolded in the quiet corners of Peter's world, where the past lingered like a mist, shrouding him in a cloak of melancholy. As the town continued its daily dance, Peter's internal battle became a silent symphony,
and the unraveling of his past became the focal point of a story that transcended the boundaries of the ordinary.
Chapter 4: The Unspoken Tragedy, Shadows in the Pub. As twilight descended upon the small town, casting long shadows across its cobblestone streets, the local pub became a haven for those seeking solace in the comforting embrace of dimly lit corners and the gentle hum of conversation. It was in these pockets of muted light and hushed voices that the unspoken tragedy of Peter's life took center stage. The pub, with its worn wooden floors and the rich scent of aged spirits, was a place where stories were exchanged as freely as the currency that changed hands across the bar. The air, thick with camaraderie, carried tales of triumphs, heartaches, and the everyday struggles that bound the townspeople together. Yet, in the midst of this communal tapestry, the name, Peter, resonated with an unspoken weight, a weight that rested on the shoulders of those who dared to utter it. Gathered around the tables, patrons leaned in close, their voices dropping to a conspiratorial whisper as they delved into the mysteries surrounding Peter. Rumors swirled like the tendrils of pipe smoke, and the air seemed to vibrate with the shared curiosity of those seeking to unravel the threads of his tragic tale. In these dimly lit corners, where shadows danced upon the walls, the tragedy that had befallen Peter became a spectral presence. Whispers carried the weight of loss, the ache of heartbreak, and a sadness that seemed to emanate from the depths of his being. Every tale told, every word exchanged, painted a portrait of a man who had walked through the fires of sorrow and emerged with a soul forever altered. Some spoke of a love lost, a romance that had crumbled like ancient ruins, leaving Peter to navigate the wreckage of a shattered heart. Others hinted at a family torn asunder by the cruel hands of fate, leaving scars that ran deeper than the visible lines etched on his weathered face. The tragedy was woven into the very fabric of Peter's existence, and the pub became a confessional where the townspeople unburdened their hearts with the heavy secrets they carried. As glasses clinked and laughter echoed, the sorrow that cloaked Peter's past cast a somber pall over the festivities. The townsfolk, fueled by a potent mixture of empathy and morbid fascination, exchanged glances that held the weight of unspoken understanding. They sensed that Peter's story was not just his own, it was a communal narrative, a shared experience that bound them together in a collective acknowledgement of life's harsh realities. In Chapter 4, the local pub emerged as the stage where the tragedy of Peter's life unfolded in the flickering candlelight and resonated in the echoes of heartfelt conversations. The unspoken grief, like a haunting melody, lingered in the air, leaving an indelible mark on the pages of the town's history, a mark that begged to be acknowledged and explored in the chapters yet to unfold.
Chapter 5: Unraveling the Mystery, Threads of Discovery. In the heart of the small town, beneath the watchful gaze of ancient oak trees and against the backdrop of cobblestone streets, a group of intrepid individuals emerged from the shadows. Fueled by curiosity and an insatiable desire to uncover the truths that lingered in the air like a persistent whisper, they set out on a journey to unravel the mystery shrouding Peter's life. As the townspeople continued their daily routines, unaware of the collective effort brewing in the background, this clandestine group convened in hushed meetings at the local library, poring over dusty archives and faded records. The pages of history, seemingly unremarkable, held the potential to unveil the secrets that Peter guarded with a silent resolve. Each revelation became a key, unlocking a door to the labyrinth of Peter's past. Birth certificates, old photographs, and faded letters surfaced, each carrying a fragment of the narrative that had remained concealed for too long. In the quiet corners of the library, illuminated by the soft glow of reading lamps, the group meticulously pieced together the puzzle of Peter's life. It became apparent that the answers lay buried in the recesses of his memories, memories that held the power to reshape the narrative of the entire town. The group, bound by a shared determination to unravel the enigma that was Peter, embarked on a journey through time, tracing the footsteps of his past in an attempt to decipher the code of his present. Conversations echoed through the narrow aisles of the library as theories were proposed, and connections were drawn between seemingly unrelated events. The group, diverse in backgrounds and motivations, found a common purpose in the pursuit of truth. They became the architects of a narrative that transcended the boundaries of individual lives, weaving a tapestry of shared understanding and empathy. The townspeople, oblivious to the meticulous investigation taking place, continued to speculate in the local pub and on the quaint streets. Meanwhile, the unraveling mystery of Peter's life gained momentum, like a river flowing steadily towards the revelation that awaited at its end. Through the fog of time, the group discovered poignant moments that had shaped Peter's destiny, the loss that scarred his heart, the choices that defined his path, and the people who had played pivotal roles in his life. The labyrinth of Peter's past began to make sense, and the group, with each newfound revelation, felt the weight of responsibility to bring the truth into the light. In Chapter 5, the town found itself at the crossroads of discovery. The unraveling mystery of Peter's life became a collective endeavor, a journey that promised not only to expose the hidden chapters of one man's story, but also to bind the community together in a shared exploration of the complexities that defined the human experience.
Chapter 6: Shadows of Grief, the Silent Symphony of Sorrow. The cobblestone streets, once witnesses to the joyous cadence of everyday life, now bore witness to a different rhythm, a somber, almost melancholic dance. In Chapter 6, Peter moved through the town as a living embodiment of grief, his every step echoing the silent symphony of sorrows that clung to him like an invisible shroud. As he traversed the familiar paths, his figure seemed to cast shadows darker than the setting sun. The townspeople, engrossed in their own tales of joy and adversity, could not help but feel the gravity of Peter's presence. Interactions with him were fleeting, as if he moved through the world with a desire to remain unseen, the shadows of grief woven into the very fabric of his being. The central square, once a bustling arena of laughter and shared moments, now bore witness to the subtleties of Peter's isolation. His gaze, often cast to the ground or lost in the distant horizon, carried a weight that transcended the physical. It was as if he navigated the world with a heart heavy with memories, each step burdened by the weight of a past that refused to release its grip. In the town's pub, where the air buzzed with the hum of conversation, Peter's presence elicited a quiet hush. The laughter softened, and the ambient noise seemed to dim as he entered. The patrons exchanged knowing glances, recognizing the shadows of grief that accompanied him like loyal companions. His interactions, though few, spoke volumes. A nod here, a faint smile there, gestures that hinted at the complexities beneath the surface. Conversations with Peter were like navigating through a mist, where words carried the weight of unspoken truths and the echoes of a grief that transcended language. As he passed by the cottages, their cozy exteriors seemed to contrast sharply with the shadows that trailed Peter. Behind closed doors, curious eyes observed his movements, and the town, in its collective awareness, became a silent witness to the intricate dance between a man and the memories that haunted him. Peter's gaze, often lost in the distance, held the look of someone searching, a search not for physical landmarks but for something elusive, residing in the recesses of his own mind. It was as if he sought solace in a realm that existed beyond the tangible, a place where the shadows of grief mingled with the echoes of happier times. In Chapter 6, the town found itself caught between the ordinary and the extraordinary, between the shadows of grief and the unspoken understanding that permeated the air. Peter, the man burdened by the weight of his own history, moved through the cobblestone streets like a spectre, leaving behind a town draped in the soft shadows of shared empathy and a pervasive awareness of the fragility of the human spirit.
Chapter 7, The Silent Cry, Echoes of Sorrow in the Night. Beneath the soft glow of the town's street lamps, where the gentle hum of daily life mingled with the rustle of leaves in the evening breeze, a pivotal moment unfolded in Chapter 7. The air was thick with anticipation as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that stretched across the cobblestone alleys. This was the night when Peter's silent cry for solace would resonate through the deserted paths, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of those who bore witness. As the townsfolk retreated to the comfort of their homes, and the echoes of laughter slowly faded, Peter found himself drawn to the solitude of the quiet alleys. His shoulders bore the weight of a sorrow so profound that it seemed to transcend the physical, manifesting as a palpable aura that lingered in the night air. Beneath the flickering street lamps, Peter's figure cast long shadows that danced with the rhythm of his internal struggle. His steps, usually measured and deliberate, now echoed with a sense of urgency, as if propelled by an unseen force towards a destination known only to him. The soft glow of the street lamps highlighted the raw vulnerability etched on Peter's face. His eyes, windows to a soul burdened by the weight of untold stories, conveyed a silent plea for understanding. It was a moment when the facade of stoicism crumbled, and the silent cry that had reverberated within him found expression in the subtle tremors of his movements. The deserted alleys, witnesses to the unfolding drama, seemed to absorb the intensity of Peter's silent cry. The town, wrapped in a cocoon of silence, held its breath as he grappled with the emotions that had long simmered beneath the surface. The soft glow of the street lamps painted an ethereal backdrop to this private struggle, casting long shadows that mirrored the complexities of a man haunted by his own history. For those who chanced upon this poignant scene, the night became a canvas upon which Peter's silent cry was painted with strokes of empathy and shared humanity. The collective heartbeat of the town seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of his anguish, forging an invisible connection between the man and the community that bore witness to his silent struggles. As the night unfolded, the echoes of Peter's silent cry lingered in the alleys, imprinting upon the collective consciousness of the town. The soft glow of the street lamps stood as silent sentinels to a moment of vulnerability, a moment that would echo through the chapters yet to come. In Chapter 7, the town grappled with the profound realization that behind the stoic exterior of Peter lay a soul yearning for solace, and in that quiet night, the foundations for a communal understanding were laid, paving the way for the redemption that awaited in the pages ahead.
Chapter 8, Connecting the Dots, the Tapestry of Revelation. With the seeds of curiosity firmly planted, a dedicated group emerged from the shadows, their collective resolve driving them to unravel the intricate tapestry of Peter's life. Chapter 8 witnessed a tireless pursuit, as these intrepid individuals worked tirelessly, connecting the dots that hinted at the source of Peter's profound anguish. The town, once oblivious to the depths of his pain, now found itself on the precipice of revelation, holding its breath in anticipation of the final unveiling. The group, fueled by a shared determination to unearth the truth, gathered in clandestine meetings illuminated only by the soft glow of candlelight. Maps, photographs, and documents spread across tables became the fragments of a puzzle waiting to be assembled. The air buzzed with a palpable energy as theories were proposed, and each revelation became a breadcrumb leading them closer to the heart of Peter's enigma. Through old letters and faded photographs, they traced the imprints of Peter's past, unraveling the threads of connections that had long been obscured by the veil of secrecy. Birth certificates told tales of familial ties, and correspondence hinted at the loves that had once blossomed within the confines of his heart. The town's history, intertwined with Peter's, unfolded like a forgotten scroll, and the group, like historians of the human experience, worked tirelessly to read between the lines. Every revelation brought them closer to the core of Peter's anguish. They discovered the chapters he had guarded so fiercely, the love that had slipped through his fingers, the family bonds fractured by the relentless march of time, and the choices that echoed with the resonance of irreversible consequences. As the dots connected, the mosaic of Peter's life took shape, each piece contributing to the complex portrait of a man who had weathered the storms of existence. The town, once a passive observer of Peter's silent struggles, now held its breath in anticipation. The interconnectedness of their lives with his became apparent, and a sense of shared empathy permeated the collective consciousness. The cobblestone streets, the cozy cottages, and the central square became more than mere backdrops. They were integral stages upon which the drama of human experience played out. In this chapter, the group not only pieced together the puzzle of Peter's past but also discovered the delicate interplay between individual lives within the town. The bonds formed in the process of unraveling the mystery forged a new sense of unity among the townspeople. It was a transformative journey that transcended the boundaries of personal histories and set the stage for the final revelation that awaited in the chapters yet to unfold. As the group inched closer to the truth, the town, now an active participant in Peter's narrative, stood on the threshold of enlightenment, ready to confront the revelations that promised to reshape its understanding of one man's journey through the shadows of sorrow.
Chapter 9: The Redemption, a Symphony of Healing. As the tapestry of Peter's life unfolded, reaching its crescendo in the final chapter, the town stood on the precipice of a transformative moment. In a collective act of compassion and understanding, the community rallied together to offer solace and support, becoming active participants in the redemption of a soul that had long been shrouded in mystery and sorrow. In the soft glow of dawn, the townspeople, once separated by the walls of their own lives, came together with a shared purpose: to extend a hand of empathy to Peter, a man who had carried the weight of his past in solitude. The cobblestone streets, witness to both joy and sorrow, now served as pathways for a collective journey toward redemption. The group that had diligently uncovered the layers of Peter's life played a pivotal role in this chapter. Armed not only with the revelations of the past, but also with a newfound understanding of the complexities that defined human existence, they became ambassadors of empathy. Their actions inspired the town to confront the shadows that lingered within its midst, fostering a sense of unity that transcended the boundaries of individual stories. The town central square, once a hub of daily life, transformed into a symbolic arena for the collective healing process. It became a space where whispered words of comfort mingled with the gentle breeze, and where the shared sorrows of the community intertwined with the resilience of the human spirit. The air was imbued with a sense of renewal, as if the town itself were exhaling the burdens it had unknowingly carried. Through shared compassion and understanding, the wounds of the past began to heal. Peter, once a solitary figure navigating the cobblestone streets with a heavy heart, found himself embraced by the warmth of a community that had chosen empathy over judgment. Conversation shifted from whispers of speculation to dialogues of support, and the invisible barriers that had separated hearts began to crumble. The mystery that had shrouded Peter's life slowly dissipated, revealing not only the intricate details of his past, but also the universal truths that connected him to each resident of the town. The redemption was not just Peter's, it was the town's acknowledgement of the shared human experience, marked by joys, sorrows, and the indomitable spirit that rose from the ashes of adversity. As the final chapter drew to a close, the sun, once obscured by the shadows of tragedy, began to rise on a new dawn. The small town, now a tapestry woven with threads of understanding, resilience, and compassion, stood as a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. In this chapter of redemption, the echoes of Peter's story resonated not as a tale of sorrow, but as a symphony of healing, reminding the town that, united, they possessed the power to navigate life's inevitable sorrows with grace and fortitude.